This is my 2010 Peugeot RCZ, and I've just developed a really strange noise. Now the noise I'm getting is this really weird clunking on the left hand side, and it only seems to happen when I'm going on unsettled road or over speed bumps. So let's get this car up in the air. So now we've got the car up in the air, you can see it's just above where I've had to jack her up. So what I'm going to do is see if I can feel anything on the up and down motion, which I can. And let's see side to side. Let's try that again without the steering lock on. Let's have a feel. Yeah, it's still there. It's definitely nothing from up and down. Let's put her on full lock. Let's see if we can see anything in here. I think the best thing to do is to take the wheel off because I can't really see in here. I pulled everything, the strut top mount, I pulled that wasn't doing anything. I checked these with a screwdriver, all the bottom arms were tight, nothing was split on the bottom end here, nothing. I could find nothing. Put your wheel on full lock and I'll show you how I found this. So basically, if you look this end, it's got a nice thud to it. If you come further along, can you hear that? That's a loose metal sound. What I'll do, I'll compare that noise to the other side. I'm going to do the same test. See, they're different. This one seems a lot more solid, where the other side just wasn't. So that's how I've managed to discover that it's the inner tie rod on the other side which is making the knock, which makes sense because I can't replicate it just by pulling like this. It has to be under full load for it to do it, but just a simple tap can tell the difference between a good one and a bad one. So just for some comparison, what I've done is I've whizzed this side off, and you know what? That's good, but this side seems really floppy. So I think the best thing to do is to replace both the inner and the tie rods on both sides and then take it for alignment and see if it goes. So I will get on the internet now and get those parts ordered.
3 days later.
These are the parts that you're going to need to do the job. I decided to use Napa because I'd seen them on Drive Tribe and they use them on a race car, so I thought if they're good enough for a race car, they're good enough for me. These are the items. You've got 2 inner tie rods, you've got 2 outer tie rods, and then you've got 2 ball joints. The specialist tools you're going to need is a 41mm slogging spanner, which was about 18 quid, which is probably the most expensive tool, but I probably will need it in the future. I bought a paint pen so that I can draw onto the track rod ends, so I know roughly where they need to be. And then I've bought this universal inner track rod removal tool, which is between 27 and 42 millimeters, which is the side you need. This was only about £10 and I got that off eBay as well. So those are the parts you need, and if you need all the item codes, then simply pause the video here right now. All in, this all cost me about £100, including the specialist tool. I want to show you what I hear in the car whilst I'm driving it. On my MOT, it said they could feel play in the steering, which you can feel very, very slightly. So that's why I suspect either inner tie rods, outer tie rods, or something ball jointy has become slack over time. So I'm going to demonstrate what that noise sounds like now. There, did you hear that? It's like a knock, knock. It feels and sounds like it's coming from the bottom suspension, not the top of the suspension, hence why I don't think it's something to do with the top mounts. Well, I'm hoping anyway. Let's get the car done. Okay, so I look a bit silly, but I'm between the dresses at the minute and I'm living in a flat now. I just want to show you what I've done so far. I've removed the wheels. I've also removed the under tray. These are really easy. There's 10mm bolts. This is so it gives us better access to the steering rack when we put the boots back on. Now we're going to start lubricating everything with WD-40 to get everything loosened off. So all I'm doing here is spraying some WD-40 all over the bolts and then cleaning them quickly with a wire brush attachment on my drill. Once I'd done that, I put my bolt onto the tie rod, give it a whack with a hammer so you don't mushroom the end, and then I just nip off the nuts and then undo it so that I can get the end off, counting how many turns that I use. So there you have it. I suspect this has been changed before because there's an actual mark on it just here, but that isn't too bad. It's quite stiff still, but we are replacing that now with a new one. But we're now going to go onto the inner tie rod, try and get that off. Not only did I count the turns, but I also measured the end of the tie rod, which was 28.8 millimeters. Once I'd taken that down, I then knocked off the clamp that held the back of the bellow on, and then I also knocked the front off. I did have a bit of trouble getting the nut off, so I cleaned it up with my drill attachment, and then it did eventually slide off. So this is off. There's no damage to this at all, which is really good news. We will be reusing this because the new kit didn't come with one. Now I want to show you how loose this is. Doesn't even hold its own weight. That's why I suspect this is probably making the noise at certain angles. I'm going to be changing that out now. Now when taking these off, it's essential that you use heat because they use thread locker. Once you've got that attachment on, use your 1/2 ratchet and really give it some force. That is now out. I've got it very warm, which made it very easy to do. So I'm now going to insert the new one. So this is the new one, and as you can see, I cannot move that at all. It's really solid. Compare it to this one, look. That's not good. Okay, let's get the new one fitted. Just taking this off is just the same but in reverse. All you do is just hand tighten it on and then put the special tool on and then tighten it up with your 1/2 ratchet as much as you can. So I forgot, I've got to put this on first. Now you'll notice there's a little breather pipe here. In there, there's a little pipe that this slides into. So once you've slid the bellow on, align the nipple into the pipe and then just screw on your outer tie rod. We'll fit the clamps afterwards. It suddenly dawned on me, before I put this on and before I put the boot back on, I should really do the lower ball joint down here because I'm going to have to lift the hub up and I don't know if I need to take the hub off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get this off now before attaching this. And it was 16.5 turns to put that on. Remove the ball joint nut, then using a ball joint breaker tool, break off the ball joint and then use a lever bar to release the lower arm, then use a slogging spanner using a hammer to release it and unscrew. So I got it out. It was a bit of a I won't lie. It almost felt like that 41mm was a bit too big, but it did its job and it's out. But look how bad that is. I wonder if that is what's causing the noise. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna now fit this and get it back on the hub and tighten it all up. Unscrew in your new ball joint, then hit it with your slogging spanner to tighten it. Once you've done that, notch it with a screwdriver. I want you to be very careful when you do this because as I was trying to put the hub back on, the drive shaft came out of the gearbox a little bit and I've lost a tiny bit of gearbox oil. I caught it just in time. I don't think that's going to make any difference, but just be very careful that your drive shaft doesn't fall out like that. Lever bar your ball joint into the lower arm, then slide your upper tie rod onto the hub and then tighten. Once you're happy it's tight, move on to the lower ball joint and then tighten that as well. That's on. They changed that to a 17 with these parts, don't know why, so that was a bit of a struggle. They've upsized this new bolt as well, so it's gone up from a 19, so I've had to use mole grips on that to secure that, but it doesn't matter because it's getting tracked tomorrow anyway. So now I'm going to attempt to try and get the boot on here with some zip ties because they didn't come with a new clamp, and then once I put that on, I'm going to try and get to the back and put a zip tie on the back. An easier way is put the zip tie on first, then slide it over, then seat that in like so, and then cut it. What I'm going to do now to make sure this is nice and secure, pull the boot right out like that, and you can see, look, it's not going anywhere. So that's how I know that boot is now fine. I think now what I'm going to do is put the jack up to replicate the suspension under load, and then I'm going to just tighten everything down so nothing's spinning when I tighten it. So all I did here was put a long socket on my jack, jacked it right up until the lower arm was straight, and then I just tightened the top and the bottom ball joint before allowing the jack to go back down. Next onto the other side, which is just rinse and repeat. Right guys, so it's all done. This is the passenger side. You can see all new there, all new inside. Had a bit of a nightmare with this one because pipe kept coming out and it was also come out completely on the other side. Got a new ball joint under there. So this is the driver's side. Just wanted to show you around everywhere. Brand new tie rod ends, brand new tie rods, brand new ball joint under there. But this was a real pig. When I took off the original one, look, it was all rust inside it and water. And the reason for this was because in there the pipe had come off, which allows air to pass between each boot, and somehow it came off and water was getting in it and then gone into the steering rack. Hopefully it hasn't done any damage, but that's something else that I found was faulty and that I fixed. After putting the wheels and the under tray back on, I dropped it off at Quick Fit. So I've just dropped the RCZ off to get the tracking sorted, so hopefully it should drive like a new car again. Okay, so I've just picked the car up from Quick Fit and I've got all the tracking done, so this is all awesome. He did actually say that I'd done really well to get the steering angle bang on, but obviously everything else was out. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take it for a quick test drive and fingers crossed that this knocking sound has gone. So let's go for a little test drive. Has that gone? Has it not gone? Very hard to tell. I thought I heard something there. Oh, this is so annoying. I think I've got stuff in the boot as well. I've got something in the glove box which potentially is knocking as well. Right, let's try again with that thing move now. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to hit a speed bump like I normally do. Here we go. Oh no, I think it's still there. Oh, is it still there? Yeah, it's still there, guys. Oh no. I think it might have been the seatbelt knocking on the passenger side. Let's try again. So I've clipped my seatbelt in, the passenger one, and I'm going to see if this has made a difference. Still there. Damn it. How annoying. So drop links changed, ball joints changed, inner tie rods changed, outer tie rods changed, but still she knocks. Okay, so it's the next day, not to be defeated. I'm gonna try a little trick to see if I can get rid of this noise. Now I suspect it's probably I haven't tightened the top mount when I fitted these lowering springs. So let's see if tightening this up gets rid of it. So for the life in me, I couldn't find a 7mm Allen key. So what I've done is I've just whizzed it off with a gun and I'm gonna just tighten it with the gun as much as I can. I'm just gonna have to go for it and hopefully it works. That's as much as that'll do it. I mean, the other thing I could do is count the threads on this side and on that side, and I know that side isn't making a sound. So if the thread length is similar to this, then I know it's tight enough. So I count about 5 threads on that. So let me see what this side's at. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. So yeah, it's definitely tight enough. So after confirming the top mounts were tight enough, I then took it out for another test drive to see if that had made any difference. Damn it. Which it didn't. Join me on the next video when we try and find out what the heck is causing this knock. Thanks ever so much for watching, and if you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe.